Come on. Oh, whole shot, baby. Now don't try and keep up with him. That would be bad, wouldn't it, Spencer? Woo! That would be very bad, because it's not possible. Whole shot, baby! On the new Royal Enfield Scram 411. We're in the Gold Coast, which is a nice little break from the brisk cold winter of Melbourne, MOTO's home city. But it looks like we've got a pretty cool day planned, riding out to the mountains, sort of on the way to Byron Bay. Some of you might know that area. And we're going to camp under the stars with a barbecue. Should be bloody lovely. The Scram 411 is I guess in effect it's a more road-oriented version of the Himalayan adventure bike that debuted some years ago. I was on the launch of that bike when it first came out, and I've since spent some time on the Himalayan. It's a pretty good thing. Honest, does what it says on the tin, and I can already tell that so much of the Himalayan has transferred over to the Scram 411, but there's some differences. I'll go over that in a bit more detail. I remember when this engine first came out, and it seemed like a massive step up compared to the sort of longer stroke single cylinders we were used to from Royal Enfield. This one's quite a bit smoother. Same 5-speed gearbox. It's not a bucket load of features at all. And I think that's actually kind of its charm in a weird way. Royal Enfield pulls that off. The less is more approach, and for a lot of people it really works. So I'm going to get acquainted with this bike for a moment, I think. Just a bit of boring suburbia stuff for now. I don't think that of much interest to you, but when we get out into the sticks a bit, I'll catch back up with you. I'll tell you what I think about the Scram 411, and then we'll have a real close look at this all-new model from Royal Enfield. Rock and roll. Just like I found when I rode the Himalayan all those years ago, I'm pleasantly surprised how nicely these things handle on a twisty bit of road. Of course, you don't have much pull out of the corners. There's not a lot of torque, 32 Newton meters, so you need to carry your momentum. But if you can carry your momentum, you know, you can get a nice little rhythm going. What's letting me down a little bit are the brakes. Royal Enfield aren't known for having overly strong brakes, but these are a little bit softer than I'd have hoped. However, these bikes are brand spanking new, so I'm going to give them a chance to bed in, and because there's a good chance that throughout the day they'll significantly improve. So I'll get back to you on that one. But in terms of handling, a little bit better than you might expect. We're on dual sport tyres, so when we hit the dirt a bit later, should be enough grip. But yeah, as long as you're a little bit brave, carrying your momentum through the apex of the corner, yeah, you can get along all right. I was surprised that there isn't that much of a price difference between the Scram and the Himalayan. There's about 150 bucks or something, depending on how you spec it, depending on whether you get the tripper navigation option, which, by the way, I've tested the tripper navigation thoroughly on the Meteor 350. I tested the Meteor 350 when it launched, and then my partner bought one, so I've spent plenty of time with it, and I have to say these are a little clumsy. They lose signal and redirect a lot, and I've never got them to quite work as well as I would have liked, which is a shame, because I thought it was a neat little addition to have turn-by-turn navigation. I think you're actually better off getting a handlebar phone mount and using your maps on your phone. You might have had a different experience, and it may work better in other countries, but in Victoria, Australia, where I've tested the tripper thing, it's been a bit clumsy. But yeah, back to my point. The Scram 4011 and the Himalayan, effectively about the same price. This one checks in at 8,240 right away. Add another couple of hundred for the fancy paint, and I don't know how much the tripper thing is. It's probably 100 bucks or something. So you're looking at under 8,500 right away, which I think's reasonable. Whoa! This cow's going nuts over here. He's not going to take someone out, is he? Definitely looking a bit sketch. Oh. Alright, nothing to see here. So this bike really sort of represents the entry point into dual sport adventure bikes in Australia. You've got things not far off in terms of price, like the KTM 390 Adventure, BMW's G310 GS, but they're not quite the same. They're not quite the same. Moving up would be something like the CF Moto 800 MT from a hair under 15 grand. Then you're looking at things like the Yamaha Tenere 700, then the Triumph Tiger 850 Sport. And by the time you get to that point, you're starting to look at full-size adventure bikes that are, you know, well over $20,000, all the way up to $40,000 for something like a spec'd out Ducati Multistrada or something. So I think I'd have to look at the current prices of the KTM 390 Adventure and stuff like that, but off the top of my head, this bike certainly seems like the entry point into the category. Doggies, hello, hello, hello. Oh. Check it out, Queensland Moto Park. I had no idea we were coming here. So sick. I'm falling off this thing today, fucking oath. Alright guys, so let's take a closer look at Royal Enfield's all-new Scram 411 or 411 or 411, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But it launched this week from 8,240 right away in base colour scheme. So this one you see here, an extra $100 gets you this colour scheme, and it tops out at 8,440 with this guy, a bit fancier. So you can probably tell that the Scram is based heavily on Royal Enfield's Himalayan adventure bike, which launched some 7 years ago. Royal Enfield's first real dual sport, I guess. So this is very much in effect a more road-oriented version, but a lot of the stuff's the same, namely this 18 kilowatt 32 Newton meter single cylinder engine. It won't blow you away, but it tractors along valiantly, it does its job. Separating it from the Himalayan, well, first up there's styling. You've got this sort of asymmetric headlight unit, the tank detailing's a bit different. We've got a nice tuck roll seat with a pillion grab rail. I really like the styling. I think they've taken a bit of a risk and it's paid off. The biggest deal to the performance changes are the fact that we lose the 21-inch front wheel of the Himalayan for a 19-inch hoop up the front. Still wire spoked, so that's nice, and we've got some fairly basic dual sport tyres. Ergo's changed too. We got new handlebars, they sit a bit lower, it's a bit more road friendly. We also lose 10 millimeters of travel at either end, so 190 millimeters up the front, 180 at the rear, and in turn, the seat height has dropped by 5 millimeters to 795 millimeters. What that means is this bike is really friendly for new riders, learner riders. It's very approachable. There's nothing confronting about this thing. It's really easy to get on and off. It's really easy to maneuver at slow speeds. Very well suited for new riders. Of course, it complies with LAMS restrictions in Australia. So we've had a road ride today. I don't know how many Ks we did, but fair few hours in the saddle, and now we're at Queensland Moto Park where we're going to do some scrambling, believe it or not. I'm really excited, it's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned. So Royal Enfield's Go Fast guy is out on the track showing us how it's done. It looks pretty sketchy out there actually. He's not going as quick as I thought. He's getting thrown around a bit. So I think I'm going to go out and follow him. I've also got this grass sort of flat track, so it should be fun to try and get the rear wheel out a bit. This might be a bit carnage, I do think, but I don't care, I'm so keen. I just get the feel for this thing a little bit. Alright, feels normal enough. Doesn't feel too sketchy. It's not bottoming out over the major bumps or anything yet. Oh, it's like sand. Ready, brother? Yeah, go get him. Yeah. Oh, all right. What a coward. Oh, P played a flyby. Yeah, there's some ruts. I mean, it would be nothing on like a actual motocross bike, but definitely want to be picking your line on something as heavy as this. It's really up and downhill. I know the GoPro won't show it, but lots of elevation changes, which is so fun. Love just holding it pinned up a hill. Just gonna stay standing, I think. Oh. Tell you what, I'm much happier to be on this than on a middleweight or heavyweight adventure bike. It'd be a different story. Look at the landing to that. Whoop. Bike cut out. Landing to that jump straight into a hill, downhill corner, downhill corner. This is the stuff I don't like. That stuff can get rooted. That looks like the line. Just been using the rear brake. Better jump on those fronts. You know, this isn't meant to be a motocross bike. You're not meant to take it on motocross tracks. So I think, you know, with that in mind, it's kind of cool that it can do this. It's the old thing, you know. The old thing, you know, a motorbike is what you make of it. People get too reliant on having to have the best of everything. The best tech, the fastest engine. That's not what motorcycling's about. Motorcycling is about getting out on whatever bike you got and having fun on the damn thing. I think I figured out the safest line. My favourite bit here. Woo! Cameramen are the worst for motorcycle journalists. I mean, the best, totally necessary, but the worst in that whenever you see a cameraman on a corner, you always push it that extra bit harder for the shot. And when you're on bike tests and bike launches, so often it's the corner that the crash happens on is the one with the cameraman, and it's for that exact reason. That's why so many crashes are often captured on camera, because they were showing off. Hey, we suffer for our art, don't we? How'd you go, Kaz?
Pretty good, but I'm struggling to get out of first gear on it. Like if I put it in second, it's just kind of got nothing to get you through the corners.
Oh, really? Yeah.
You're probably on the faster, but like I'm pumped.
Me too. Me too. The suspension handles are better than I thought, though.
Yeah, it's just more like I think that the front feels really vague. I don't have a lot of faith in the front.
Yeah. It's a heavy bike, like it's not a dirt bike.
Yeah, exactly, and it's, you know, like
good workout though.
it's good.
Yeah, I'm totally wrecked. Gonna struggle to hold the beer later.
Beer's gonna taste so good.
Oh, speaking my language. How's that jump over there that like lands in a right hand corner downhill?
Yeah.
That's so hectic.
Yeah, I didn't even, like I could, like, cause I don't have the faith in pulling it up.
Yeah.
The feel of it is vague for me, so where it's located perhaps, I feel like I push on it, doesn't feel like
Oh, it's totally
I
vague.
feel the back come out, it's weird.
Yeah. Oh,
Who's down?
Andrew. He's always pranging. He's getting a reputation. Hey Andrew, I'm sure you're watching this. Gotcha, you bastard. That is such a fun little section there. Even on this little 18 kilowatt bike, holding it pinned up a hill through ruts. Hard to beat. Look at that view. Oh, there's a kangaroo, check it out. Hey buddy, he's come to see what all the fuss is. Whew. Oh, that was a bit sketch. Here we go. Wonder if our mate Skippy's still up here. Where'd he go? He's gone. There he is. Hey buddy. Must be used to motorbikes going around here all the time. He's not the least bit scared. Local Skippy. Ooh. So here's three things that I really like about the Royal Enfield Scram. I think firstly is its price. $8,240 right away, I think is remarkably affordable for a lot of people, and it gives them access to adventure bike riding in Australia. You could go around Australia tomorrow on one of those things, or any country really. It has the performance to get you through most stuff. It's not a fast bike, it's not meant to be, but I think it serves as a really good opportunity for particularly young riders, people getting into adventure bike riding. It's a great access point. Secondly is versatility, which sort of goes into what I'm saying. It can do a lot. It's not that fast, it's not particularly adept off-road, but there's not that many trails you couldn't get up. It sits on 110 without a problem. You can put luggage on it. It's pretty easy to maintain, it's pretty easy to work on yourself. So again, really good for new and inexperienced riders, and also would make a great second bike, I think. The third thing I really like is its styling. I think they've gone for this sort of neo-retro dirt bike. I'm thinking sort of 80s motocross bikes inspired. I think it looks really cool. It looks different to the Himalayan, even though it borrows so much from it. And there's so many different color options. I mean, you could really make it your own with a few modifications, and I think a lot of people will. Three areas where I think the Royal Enfield Scram could be improved. Probably the biggest standout to me is the brakes. They're only very new, these bikes we were riding, and I noticed throughout the day as they wore in, they improved significantly. They got a bit better, but while you don't need a lot of power to have fun on a motorcycle, you don't need a lot of tech features to have fun on a motorcycle, I don't think anyone regretted having more stopping power. More brakes are always good. It's got Biber brake calipers, which is a subsidiary of Brembo, so they're all right, but a little bit more would be nice. Second area that could be improved on the Scram, I think, is let's get rid of that bloody trip and navigation system. I've dealt with it a few times on the Meteor. It's a little bit clumsy. I think it might save you, but as an optional extra, I think you're better off just strapping your phone to your handlebars and using your onboard maps on your phone. I think at this stage, maybe in other countries it's better, but all my experiences in Australia, a little bit clumsy to set up that trip and navigation system. So maybe that's just one to keep in mind, not a huge one. One other little issue I did notice is the speedo malfunctioned. Now, the exact same thing happened to me on other Royal Enfield motorcycles. It's the third time it's happened to me. So normally I'd go, look, it's just this unit. It's, you know, new bikes have little problems like that. But that suggests to me that it's happened 3 times. It suggests to me that it's probably an ongoing reliability issue. It's really not a big deal. The needle just gets stuck at 0 sometimes. I mean, who cares? You turn it off and turn it on again, it comes on. But I just think that I should mention that because, as I said, it's happened before. But not a biggie. There's really not a lot to hate about this motorcycle. It sort of does what it says on the tin. It's priced for what it is, and it performs the way it's sold it performs. So I've had a lot of fun on the Royal Enfield Scram. I think it's a really good addition to the, let's call it the Himalayan range. Would I have it over the Himalayan? Hard question. They're about the same price. The Himalayan obviously has a little bit more off-road prowess because it's got that 21-inch front hoop, but the Scram is certainly the better bike on the road. So it's up to you, I guess. What do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll leave some links for our other Royal Enfield reviews and vlogs and stuff like that. Take it easy, guys. Doggies. Hello. 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 Oh.